Well, I'm a peace through strength conservative. And I saw what members of Congress who probably very few people around the country knew, ever had heard of, how they could make a difference. When I was on the Hill in the 80s, Congressman Stanglin, who I worked for, and my father before him, they passed the bills that Ronald Reagan needed in order to rearm our military, in order to bring us back. And so I'd like to be part of that coalition out there to help the president get that done. Now, hey, look, Donald Trump was dealt a very bad hand by Barack Obama. When Barack Obama took office, relatively speaking, the Middle East was stable and a lot of pro-West or neutral governments. And President Obama, for whatever reason, decided he had to meddle over there and make some deals and make some changes, and we ended up with ISIS. We ended up with Egypt being undercut to the point where the military had to take over from the Muslim Brotherhood. We saw what happened in Libya and the refugee mess that has caused all throughout Europe and to the United States in some degree. And so, these problems that Obama pushed out there, now Trump's trying to deal with them. North Korea, this is a president that stands up just like Ronald Reagan and says, you know what, we're going to stand with our we're going to stand with our allies, and we're going to stand up to our enemies. And so North Korea, this Iran deal, other things, I would be somebody that would support the president in that regard. Now, as far as the problems here at home, the threats that we face, yes, nobody's been more of a strong advocate for border security and the rule of law and everything that goes associated with that than me. I've been talking about that virtually my entire life. I think that it's a disgrace that 16 years after 9/11, we still have a visa and passport system where we don't know who's even in the United States anymore, people who should have left the country. There are 5 million people here who have overstayed their temporary visas. I believe they should be found, especially if they're from terrorist countries, and sent home so they can come here the legal process. When it comes to the border and our security, yeah, we need to build a wall. We need to do everything we can to have the rule of law. And if that means regular order on deportations and those types of things, that's fine. I support merit-based immigration, not chain migration, none of that stuff. Merit-based immigration, so the people that come here are going to help our country, and they're going to be in a good position to support themselves, and that's very important. And when it comes to the issue of Islamic supremacy, there have been nobody in the country who's led on this even more than me. In the last election, before Donald Trump ever waded into the issue, I said, Minnesota has an assimilation and a terrorist problem because of refugees who've come here, mostly from countries that hate America. And so I called for a refugee program timeout, took flack from it, from the liberals and others. But it was the right call. The president, when he took office, started that process, and he's made some changes. I still think we need a timeout because we have problems. But Islamic terrorism, Islamic supremacy, people coming here from countries that hate America, it's a huge threat. And I would be someone that I have been not worried about what people say about me, not worried about what people think about me. We're going to do the right thing to protect our country, because the first responsibility of any member of Congress is to protect the United States and defend the American people. And that's what I would do on your behalf.